itself is what's holding us back. In life, we live each day painfully observant of the world around us. Not to say that looking outward is negative, but to take external circumstance into your internal self is making you a servant to all but yourself. I think that many things are meant to be looked at more than they are analyzed. And that's to say that in life, we tend to be more analytical and more observant of the world around us rather than allowing the world around us to be as it is. We need to look with the eye, not observe with it, in order to see a world that's less stressed and less complex. The false pretext in the mind instill delusion. Biases riddled within us create a bias of the world around us. And that's a never-ending cycle, especially if we take in what is meant to stay out and external. We take things personal when we feel as if, or what I feel as if we shouldn't. We bring into ourselves what is supposed to be outside. Not every circumstance and every action of another person has to be justified or analyzed by you. The main point of this idea is the fact that comparison is the killer of joy. To look at what is not possessed is worthless, for there's always going to be something that we are unable to obtain. Philosopher Epictetus said, "Another person cannot hurt you without your cooperation. You are hurt the moment you believe yourself to be." In most cases, or at face value, looking at what you do not have is not a necessarily bad thing, but to desire what you have not over being grateful and showing appreciation to what you have, that's when it becomes a truly negative thing. I think that in today's society, gratitude is often misplaced. We aren't grateful for many of the things we have, and we don't practice anything that has to do with gratitude. Not to say that in the past it was such a major thing, but to say that I feel like the more grateful you are to the world around you, the more grateful you be to more stuff. Like, the more things you'll find to be grateful for, and the more things will come into your life that you can be grateful for. I think it's a pessimistic attitude of realizing or looking for what we have not that makes us realize we don't have a lot. And you're not meant to have everything. For anyone with everything has nothing to do. Part of the Confucian ideal is to make those atop great, so those who wish to have the same power will follow. But I feel like this is in terms of character, not power. The Confucian ideal is kind of based on moral principles. It's a moral idealism rather than material idealism. We're looking at those atop in terms of character and how they act and how they interact with those around them and how much influence they have, and we copy that so we have that same influence. But that's not the same as saying that person has a lot of stuff, let me do what they want, or let me compare myself to them and try to be like them because I want to subserve to their ideal of good material to have. But all things must have reference to your own character. Confucian ideals are mainly virtue and development more than material and physical, possession. When people try to take on too much improvement at once, they tend to get worse. It seems almost as if when we try to posit so much faith in ourselves or so little reality in our dreams and aspirations, that makes them all the more harder to achieve. We stack a bunch of stuff on ourselves because it's like a psychology thing. I don't know who told me this, but I think I learned it in high school, but when you put stuff off to your future self, that's because you always expect your future self to be more fit for the job at hand, when in reality, you're probably going to be around the exact same way that you are now. We can only fill ourselves up so much before we're prone to collapse. And a lot of us try to fill so much within ourselves that we almost forget some of the vacancies. And the thing about being empty is that we are easy to fill. And that's definitely, I think, a good thing. However, it's when we try to fill ourselves more than we can take that we burst and are never able to be filled up in the same way again. The journey of self improvement, I feel, should be something that is steady, not fast. And today's modern day, like, improving culture or self improvement culture is making people think that it's kind of a quick fix to their real issue, when in reality it's a conscious effort, and it's not always going to be a beautiful thing. Like, sometimes you have to address many negative parts of yourself and negative parts of your reactions in the past and all that stuff in order to heal in the present. So it's not like you could just meditate once and everything will go away. And then that's in the same way of comparison. I don't know where I was going, but with comparison, we often compare the journey of ourselves to the journey of others, when everyone's path is only tailored to themselves. And we especially compare our path to those of people who are already successful. And we assume that they got that like instantaneously rather than on a steady path, when most people had to work a good amount of time in order to get what they desire. We see people achieve what we wish to and act as if it can be acquired in a short time. Unrealistic comparison is the root of our dismay. We romanticize others and treat ourselves like we aren't worth much. We don't posit enough reality in our ability to achieve what we want. Like, we view almost like our own aspirations as almost jokes if they deviate from the standard, you know. Even if they don't deviate from the standard, we view things that are societally looked at as hard and compare it to how we view ourselves. And that's why I think self-image and self-identity is such an important thing, because you need to ground yourself in so much reality that, you know, you really believe in who you are rather than how other people view you or how you compare to the rest of society. Because otherwise, comparison is going to come within your mind and make you almost crazy. We are greater than many can see. And the main person who's able to see how great we are is truly ourselves. We have to be able to see our own beauty in order for others to see it too. We are the best version of ourselves. We are the best self. Like, I'm the best Ian that will ever exist. And I don't mean like Ian by the name, but like me. I'm the best me that will ever exist in this world. Because I'm the only me that could ever exist in this world. And if there's another, then it's a cheap knockoff, and it's not really me. Therefore, if I'm the only me and nobody else is me, there truly are no grounds for comparison.